Want to know where to get free fresh fruit and herbs in Brisbane? Or anywhere really? Then keep watching. These are crazy times and everyone's feeling the pressure from rising prices. The price of fresh produce is often affected by freak weather events like floods and storms, so getting the freshest possible fruit for free is a pretty big deal. I'm going to tell you how to do exactly that, and even better, using this approach, you can get some native Australian fruit that they don't even sell in the stores. Most importantly, I'll tell you the apps and the tools you can use to know where to go. There is one catch, however. You've got to pick it yourself. Lily Billy. In a subtropical climate like we have here in Brisbane, there are all kinds of fruit trees loaded with fruit in the right seasons. Mangoes, avocados, guavas, macadamia nuts, lychees are just a few. Also some really delicious native fruits, which I'll tell you about later in the video. While a lot of these trees are growing on private land, the law states that anything growing on public land or overhanging public land is there for the taking. Now, while you can legally pick fruit growing over public land, like by a footpath or growing over a fence, it's still good form and common courtesy to ask the resident of the property the tree is growing on if they mind you picking a few. A while back, Brisbane City Councillor David McLaughlin was interviewed by the ABC, and he said that under the Dividing Fences and Tree Act of 2011, a neighbour can trim any branches that overhang a fence on their side, and that by extension, they had the right to pick the fruit. An article by the Courier Mail, however, said that the Queensland Neighbourhood Disputes Resolution Act of 2011 states that the fruit is property of the tree owner whichever side of the fence it's on. Now, I read the legislation and it says nothing like that. Instead, it refers to the common law right of abatement, which basically states that rights end at the boundary line. The lesson there is, don't blindly trust what the Courier Mail says, do your research. Or you could subscribe to this channel and I'll do the research for you. So how do you find these trees? Well, there's a couple of ways. The first is an app called Falling Fruit. While the mobile app costs just over $1 to download, you can access Falling Fruit's site for free from any web browser. It's a crowdsourced map with listings for fruit that can be found in public locations. I used it to find mulberries, although I was a little early and very few fruit were ripe. Yeah, there we go. Yeah, so this tree backs out onto a park. Anything on this side of the fence, up for grabs. Just wish I'd come by when they were a bit riper, because look at all those fruit, my God. Came too early. No jokes about coming too early, please. Also, I found a place that had a guava tree next to a lychee tree next to a feijoa tree. The guavas were still too small, as were the feijoas, and the lychees hadn't even flowered yet. And because most of the trees were on private land with just part of them overhanging council land, I definitely asked the owners if they minded me picking a few if I returned another day. I would have been able to pick mangoes the app showed me in a park, but weird weather this year means they haven't even started fruiting yet. The Brisbane Public Harvest overlay on Google Maps also has many listings. I used the maps to also find native Australian fruit like lily pillies. Their flavour ranges from sour and tangy to quite sweet. The deeper the red, the nicer they are. Falling Fruit also led me to some lemon myrtle trees in a nearby park. Another native plant, the leaves have a strong citrus taste. You can use them in cooking or add hot water and honey for a delicious tea. Good. Now, both the Brisbane Public Harvest and Falling Fruit maps are far from comprehensive, so keep your eyes open and I'm sure you'll see a whole lot more fruit trees around the place. But you're not going to get enough to live off, so here's the video you need to watch next so that you can know how to save even more money on fresh produce in Brisbane. See you there.